Welcome to Roofing Road Trips, the podcast that takes you on a thrilling journey across the world of roofing. From fascinating interviews with roofing experts to on-the-road adventures, we'll uncover the stories, innovations, and challenges that shape the rooftops over our heads. So fasten your seatbelts and join us as we embark on this exciting roofing road trip.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Roofing Road Trips from RoofersCoffeeShop. My name is Karen Edwards, and I'm really excited about today's episode because I am sitting here with my friend Dale Nelson from Roof Hugger. Dale, welcome.
Hey, thank you. Good to see you, Karen.
Yeah. Thank you so much for being here. We're going to really dive in and tell the Roof Hugger story. You've been doing this a long time and you are the brains behind Roof Hugger. Can you get our listeners up to speed with the story of how you came to be?
Yeah, so Roof Hugger got its start officially as a corporation back in 1991. And that came about from my old longtime partner in the construction business, Red McConaughey. And he gave me my first job in Florida when I moved here, and I stayed with his construction company and came up through the ranks, ran an industrial park division for him, eventually got my own Class A contractor's license, and we had worked together literally from the early 70s. So he retired and was doing a few things part-time. I was working with his son-in-law, actually, a guy named Don Highnote. And Red gave me a call and said, Dale, I've got an investment property I need to re-roof. How about going out and taking care of getting a new roof put on it? It's really old and in bad shape. So it was about an 8,000 square foot building, not much to speak of. So I called the erector because I had never done that before, and brought him out there, asked him what we do. He says, well, we'll just run hat channels across the top of the ribs and screw that down and put the new metal panels on top. He goes, that's the way it's always done. All right, sounds like a plan to me. So I had all the hat channels delivered out to the job site, and Red came out and looked around. He goes, you're not putting those darn things on my roof, are you? I said, well, I was going to. He says, well, that's not correct. It's never going to work, and it's not structurally adequate. I said, are you sure about that? He goes, call your engineer, and then you get back in touch. So I called our engineer, and sure as the world, he says, no, it'll never work. He said, you have to have a structure-to-structure attachment, which means you got to have little blocking pieces running parallel to the ribs going up the slope of the metal roof. And then you can put a hat channel across that. And he says, and that'll be good for about 6 months, then it's going to leak like hell. I said,
oh no.
I said, why is that? He says, because it's hat channels and they're very rigid. And he said the reason screw-down metal roofs work is that purlins are Z-shaped and they actually roll and flex a little bit, and they accommodate the expansion and contraction of metal roof panels. I said, oh, okay. Now I know more than I ever wanted to know, right? So I go back to Red. I give him the whole spiel. And he says, well, don't do anything. I'll get back in touch with you in a week or so. So he did. He says, I have got a great idea. Let's make a Z-shaped purlin and cut notches in it, and we'll screw it down the roof, and then it'll be structure to structure, and we'll have the roll and flex we need to make this whole thing work. Wow. I said, that's great. Let me go see if I can find someone to build it. So I went out in search of fabricators to make it, and lo and behold, the cheapest price I was able to get was about $10 a running foot back in 1990.
Wow.
Holy crap. That will never sell. That'll never work. So Red called me back and says, wait a minute, I know an old time company in Tampa. Let me call them. So we did, and there was this company called Tampa Sheet Metal. Went down there, and he says, "Yeah, if we're going to do this as a one-off, it's probably going to be $8 to $10 a running foot." And I said, "Well, we can't afford to make that work on Red's building." And he says, "Well, but if I knew you were going to have some quantity of this, then we could work something out." So we came up with a pricing scheme based on quantity, and built the first prototypes, retrofitted the building, and it came off just as good as you could ever imagine. And then we did another building, and then we did another building, and all this was in early 1990. So Red says, "I think this might be good for the industry. I tell you what, let's you and I start a business. You do all the work, and I'll go see if I can get us a patent." So, well, okay, why not? And that's how we started. In 1991, we formed a corporation, and off we went. And we had rocking sales our first year of $9,600.
Nice. Not enough to pay the bills, apparently.
Off to a roaring start. But it progressively got better and better. And we, in 1994, did get our patent. And then we set about the business of marketing this thing in earnest. And so we're fortunate at that time. Metal Construction News was probably the dominant publication of that era. And it was John Lawrence, Sam Milnark, a guy named John Garvey, and names you probably recognize. And so they sort of took us under their wing, gave us some advice on how to market on a very limited budget. And we started taking out ads and selling product, and off Roof Hugger went. And it was an amazing start and amazing history. So that's what kicked us off.
Wow. Yeah, it was kind of unintentional, but you so many times there's products that exist because someone needed to solve a problem. And, that's exactly this case. I'm curious about the name. Who came up with that?
Well, it was Red's idea. He said, "We got to have something catchy."
Yes.
He says, I think people are going to love the name Hugger. So let's call it Roof Hugger. And so we did. And I'll kind of jump off to the side a little bit, but he used to answer the phone with great enthusiasm. Red was a very colorful guy. And he'd say, he answered the phone, "Good morning. This is Roof Hugger. Have you hugged your roof today?" And there's this long pause on the other end of the phone. And this lady says, obviously from deep in the South somewhere, says, "I believe it's just too hot here for that." Just cracked me up. But we have had a lot of fun with the name over the years, and it's served us very well. And I suspect we're sort of the Kleenex brand now of retrofit roofing, and everyone that needs to put a new roof over the old one knows to call Roof Hugger.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And are you guys still in Tampa today?
Yeah.
How about, getting the material all across the country? It's available everywhere. Yes.
Yes. Of course, our company was sold. That Red passed in 2011. Yeah, I think January of 2011. And, I took over the company in total. But in 2016, we had been using a company called Logan Stamping out of Logansport, Indiana. And they made an offer to buy us out and work them into their LSI group, which they manufacture metal building clips and specialty fabricated components for the metal building industry. So we had exactly the same customer base.
Right.
So it really was a marriage made in heaven, and they kept me on ever since. And although I'm more and more sliding out of active management. DJ Highnote kind of runs all the operations now, and our really great staff. But it's really uh, been a nice a nice transition over the years. Through that, and we had a couple milestones along the way, and yeah, getting the patent certainly was one, and then we started doing some product testing, um, getting involved in association work. We do metal construction, metal building manufacturers, RCI, IBEC, I guess now, and Frisha, and gosh, who else? Metal building contractors and erectors. So we got deeply involved in association work, and it it allowed us to understand what the installers need as well as the manufacturers to have a credible product in the industry. I mean, one of the things Roof Huggers morphed into is aligning ourselves not with the way we want to do it, but with the way the industry wants to see it. So we used to use 12 gauge, 14 gauge, 16 gauge material. We standardize. The industry primarily uses high strength steel, 50 KSI, G90 product. We standardize on what the industry uses. And then we started doing testing that conforms with what the industry needs to present to their clients and be confident in the performance they're going to get. So those milestones along the way have been just so important to us to learn through the associations what we needed to do to conform.
I love that you cited getting involved with associations as one of those milestones over roof. We at Roofers Coffee Shop, we're big proponents of associations and being involved, and it really can change your business, whether you're an installer, a manufacturer, a media outlet. There are a lot of opportunities to learn while you're also supporting and helping the industry. So I love that you said that.
It is, and there are so many people out there that have so much more knowledge than you'll ever have, and it's individually, and so in the associations you get to meet them all, you get to talk with them, you get to see the problems they're trying to solve and fix, and often in our case we see code changes or other modifications that are coming down the pipe that haven't hit us yet that we can be prepared for. And that has made all the difference in the world for Roof Hugger, because we see the code changes coming. We know we have to jump our testing up. We know strengthening the buildings is critical to putting photovoltaic panels on them, or putting a second roof on them, to withstanding new wind and snow conditions. We saw all that coming years before it hit. And so we were ready. We had done our testing, and we're still doing our testing to expand it, but we weren't blindsided by it. So that you only get that in association and interacting with all these really heck of a lot smarter than me people. So it's been terrific.
Yeah, yeah. So, talk a little bit about maybe the evolution of the product. You said you used to use certain gauges, now you've standardized. How it just sounds like you are just constantly talking to the folks in the field that are using this product to find out what their needs are.
Early in the 90s, there was no test protocol for what we were doing, or metal panels even. That the values were all calculated values. So we decided to, with the help of our engineer, create our own test protocol. So we built a test bed, turned the roof upside down, and started stacking concrete blocks on it until it collapsed. And so that gave us an indication how valid our calculated values were, because we calculated it would fail here and it actually failed here. So now we started having reference points. That was probably 1995. 2005. And then in 97, we met folks over in St. Petersburg, Florida, called Celotex. Celotex Test Lab had a huge lab facility over there. And they introduced us to a protocol that was a little more accurate, a little more refined, and had way cool instrumentation and all that stuff.
Not concrete
They
blocks.
didn't use concrete blocks, It took all the fun out of it. And so we tested with, their criteria. And then late in the 1990s, a new test protocol called the ASTM E1592 came along. It was specifically designed for standing seam panels, but worked very well for screw-down panels as well. And the industry seemed to be adopting that protocol. So we switched to that protocol and then started testing standing seam panels, screw-down panels, different rib sizes and shapes and stuff to see how it performed. And as you might guess, when you take a Z like a Purlin, but you cut notches out of it, it's not quite as strong as it was before when it was solid. So its behavior is a little different than just a straight metal Purlin, metal building Purlin or straight Z. So as we continued to do testing, we continued to expand our understanding of how it moved, where its strengths and weaknesses are, and what we could expect for performance. And so now that is very well established in our business, and we use it every day of the week. Every time we design a project for snow load or wind load or all that, we know what to expect out of our roof huggers and how the panel is going to perform on the roof huggers. And we've been involved in wind tunnel testing and all kinds of interesting, fun stuff. Been up the University of Ontario for some very fancy testing up there. Been down to Florida International University in Miami for a wall of wind testing down there, where we dialed up winds of 155 miles an hour. And
Wow. How did you do against the 155 miles an hour? Pretty good?
it's honking. Yeah, it's a kind of amazing thing to see.
Because you created this system. It didn't exist before you developed it. So there were no tests. So I understand why you had to kind of say, okay, what should we be testing for? And, now there are. So you really led the way in that.
I guess it's been about 8 or 10 years ago now, we started noticing when you walked on a roof after you retrofitted it with roof huggers, it was significantly stiffer, stronger. If you walk out between the frames of a metal building on the Purlins, and you can hop up and down and it'll spring a little bit. But after we retrofitted it, it didn't move. And so we thought, well, there's something going on here. So we started doing Purlin testing to see if, in fact, the roof huggers were adding strength to the existing Purlins. And lo and behold, they were. So then we had to come up with a way to quantify that. And so there's something they call a base test, which is simple span. So 25 feet, and you put a Purlin in the middle and you load it up. But didn't really reflect real world conditions, because most metal buildings have more than one bay and they're multiple span. And so we created a 50-foot test chamber, 2 span, and then tested that, calculated what we thought the values would be, and then actually ran different height roof huggers, different ribs cutouts and all that. And we're able to put together a whole table of information of strength that the roof huggers bring to the existing Purlins. Subsequent to that, we hired a PhD to create some software so that we can now tell a client with authority that we can bring 3 pounds a square foot additional capacity, or 5 pounds, or in some cases we are bringing 12 pounds to 15 pounds a square foot of additional capacity, which is really significant when you're um, trying to put photovoltaics on the roof, which can weigh, 4 to 6 pounds a square foot. Uh, and the retrofit itself is 2 to 3 pounds a square foot. So these things start to add up and they're loading the building. And it's good to know that there's a way to counteract that weight and give them the performance they need. So
Yeah, yeah, that's cool. That's an added benefit. Yeah, maybe wasn't intended at the beginning, but it turned out to be giving that extra strength. That's really cool. I like it.
and our people have really made a big difference as well. Our staff is very knowledgeable. I have, well, too many years, 50 years of metal building time myself, but most everyone in here has roof knowledge, roof experience. And so, that's been, another one of our sort of milestone kind of things is that our staff was amazing, outstanding. We hired some really great people. My wife is one of them, actually, and
Nice.
it's funny running a business is complex, as you well know, and so she would take care of the payables, the receivables, and the staff things, and then she'd bring a little levity to the office, and run around. She found some kind of frisbee gun that would shoot little baby frisbees about things. She'd run around the office and blast people with it. And
Oh, that's fantastic.
so we've always had fun here, but got the work done. And when people needed us to perform, we're right there, solid and ready to perform for them. So
Yeah, yeah. And I love the family environment too. That your wife works there and you're related to DJ as well, aren't you?
and to that end, DJ Highnote, who's kind of running the operations, is my original partner, Red McConaughey's grandson.
I love it.
It is really dovetailed together better than any of us could have ever hoped. And it's still going strong. And then now our relationship with the LSI group and Logan Stamping is as solid as ever. And our customer base just continues to expand throughout all the metal building industry. We support them. We don't compete with them. We give them value. We make their re-roofing projects easier for them because we handle the engineering for them. We handle the design. All they do is tell us where the building is. We'll Google Earth it, do all the magic things we have to do to get it to meet code, and go on from there. So
It's an easy button. Yeah, easy button, right? Just call Roof Hugger and we'll do it for you. I love it. Yeah. So how are some of those early installs? Are they still performing well?
it's interesting. It was about 5 years ago now, but there was a building we had retrofitted about 10 years prior to that, and they were tearing it down. And I said, well, before you tear it down, I want to go out there. And so as they took the retrofitted roof off, I wanted to see what the huggers looked like. Were they distorted in any way? Were they all rusty, or what was going on? And they took them off. They stacked them on the ground, and the guy wanted to know if he could resell them. They looked that good, and so I was very tickled with that. I go, well, you can resell them, but I can't.
Right, right. Yeah, yeah.
But
Oh, good to know. Good to know.
yeah, so everything has been performing really well, and we're seeing instances now where we have buildings that were originally designed for winds of maybe 120 miles an hour that we're taking to 170 to 180 miles per hour. And we can do all of that on top of the roof without getting on the inside of the building. So the client is not disrupted. They can keep doing whatever it is they're doing or building inside. We'll do everything from the outside. And um, Red's little idea for a night Z really blossomed into something none of us could have imagined back in the early 90s. So, it's just funny how some some business ideas just
Yep. Take off. It was a good idea and it works. It brings so many benefits to the building that, wow. Yeah. It's no wonder. It's great to see where it started and hear of where you are today.
and I've met a lot of great people along the way. A lot of people have helped us, and in marketing sense, you guys have been terrific. I mean, great in terms of helping us to properly promote ourselves in areas we have. Like I can text sort of kind of.
Yeah.
But when it comes to marketing online or these types of podcasts and things, boy, am I out of my element. So,
Oh, yeah, we're here to help. Well, we love sharing stories. We love getting information out there into the hands of other people in the industry. It's important that people hear the story and understand what makes Roof Hugger so special and why it works.
if people want to know about us,
Yes, I was gonna say, ask you that very
yeah,
question.
where you?
Roof Hugger.
I was hoping you'd ask.
Google it, Roof Hugger,
Yeah,
right?
so if they have a really specific technical question or a project they're working on, pick up the phone and call us. I mean, the depth of knowledge in here is incredible. Otherwise, you can go to our www.roofhugger.com address, and if you want a quote, we have forms to get a quote, or if there's a contact thing where you can fill it out and we can reach back to you if you have specific questions or problems. But we have I don't know how many hundreds of CAD details online. We have brochures online, a lot of case studies, photographs, articles. As you know, I write a lot of articles for the industry, and I've gotten some innovation awards from the Metal Building Manufacturers Association, and so we pretty well know our stuff.
Yes.
Happy to help any way we can. So.
Excellent. And roofhugger.com, or you can find Roof Hugger on Roofer's Coffee Shop. They have a directory there, has information about the product and how to get in touch. And trust me when I say they're the nice people. We love Roof Hugger and they are here to help.
They are.
Thanks, Dale. This has been a great conversation. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for putting this together, Karen. It's been very nice.
Yeah, and thank you everybody out there for listening. We hope that you subscribe on your favorite podcast platform because we want to see you on the next episode of Roofing Road Trips. We'll see you next time. Bye.
If you've enjoyed the ride, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and join us on every roofing adventure. Make sure to visit RoofersCoffeeShop.com to learn more. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you on the next Roofing Road Trip.